Okay, so as we're creating our street ad, so that's a street address, then postal code. This is always important so I'm going to leave it as varchar because some countries actually have alphabets in their postal code. Although South Africa uses 4 numbers, the 4-5 numbers, I think 5 thereabouts. So we have our postal code, city. So we have our city name. So that will also follow characters, variables or characters. Then what else should be in here? State, province, country, and that's it. So just like some countries use states, some use province, like South Africa. So you need to have the province name, your data type first. Always remember to put in your data type. That's quite important. Data type, the amount of characters that can possibly enter is 30. If you notice, I'm putting some numbers in here. For the primary key, I am not giving a specific number, just in case if you do not declare the actual size of your integer, let's say to the tune of 5 or 10, if you don't declare it by default, the database in itself expands to suit a growing population. But if I declare it, if someone enters a street address that is beyond 40, it's going to be stopped. Okay, so this limits the characters or whatever information it is that I'm trying to put in here. So next we need country ID. So each country has an ID. So this is a foreign key. So we're going to declare our primary key, which is for location ID, is our primary key here. And we'll close our bracket, and that's it for our tables. Okay, so this is the summary of what we've done today. In subsequent lessons, we'll be learning about other important things. However, before we leave, I just want to show you something which we'll dive into in subsequent lessons. So for this table, if you notice, we only declared that location ID is the primary key, but we didn't declare that country ID is a foreign key. So if you want to do this and it wasn't by default declared in here, you have to alter this table. So I'm going to refresh on the left hand side. You can see the locations table. The reason why I'm explaining this way ahead is because the next ICE task will require you to create tables and create relationships between those tables. And this is one of the ways to create a relationship between tables. So we're going to use the keyword alter the table called locations. We come into the next line and we say add constraints. All these things will be explained to you in subsequent classes. Add constraints, foreign key. So we want to include a foreign key in here, and you need to select the field. So we're telling our database that this is a foreign key. So this field called country ID references another field within the countries table of the same name. of the same name, country ID. Okay, so what it's saying is we want to alter this table. We want to add this constraint to say there is a foreign key in this table for the field which points at the field called country ID, and this field country ID references the same field called country's ID in the countries table. So once this is done, see, it was successful. So we've successfully added that the field country ID is a foreign key. So end this lesson here, and we'll discuss further on the due date that we want to add for the second ICE task. But this is where the whole gist of today's lesson ends. Okay, so please watch the video and we'll try to take it up from here tomorrow. I know most of you might not have access to do some of these things since we've tried to set up in the lab ahead of time.